Good afternoon, this is Shindo. I'm doing this video to see if you can see the fairly obvious parallels between what's going on in Sweden and what's going on here in the United States. This is an article from Breitbart. I am reading an article from Breitbart. I know a lot of you probably are asking yourself, why do I keep saying I'm reading from an article? Of course I'm reading from an article. But believe it or not, I have people who come at me who actually don't understand that I am reading from an article online. This is from Breitbart.com. 80% of Swedish police consider quitting over migrant danger. Now, folks, with everything going on with Black Lives Matter, with all the crap that policemen have to put up with, and honestly, I think a lot of it's called karma, because I don't particularly care for most police. I mean, who does? Who likes to be pulled over by the cops? But I've been pulled over by the cops. I've been pulled out of my car and thrown on the ground. Okay, folks, I have been abused by the police for no good reason, and I am a white man. Yes, I know my skin color's not the same color as, say, typing paper, but we do still call this white, folks. Anyway, I digress. This could very well be a headline in 2 or 3 years. Certainly, I don't endorse either candidate, but certainly if Clinton becomes president, you're going to see a headline like this that's going to say 80% of American police consider quitting over race danger or whatever. So this is reason why. That is the reason why, if you can see the parallels here, I would hope that my audience, being the upper creme de la creme of the intellect, the ones that don't come at me with these nonsense trolling, would be smart enough to see the parallel. If you like what I do, comment, click like, share my videos, and subscribe. All right, to the article from Breitbart. There will be a link, as there always is a link to the article in the description box. Sweden may be descending into a crisis as a new report suggests 80% of police officers are considering switching careers due to the danger they face in the field. The criminal situation in Sweden may be heading for an even worse turn, as the new report has shown that the vast majority of the Swedish police force is so unhappy they are looking into other careers. Sweden has been rocked by increased level of criminality from sex attacks at the music festivals, hand grenade attacks, and violence towards the police in areas populated mostly by migrants. Yes, please bring more of these people to the United States, please. The report states that up to 3 Swedish police quit every day as they feel the government isn't giving them the tools to tackle the epidemic of criminally, Norwegian broadcaster NRK reports. Swedish Police Sergeant Peter Larsson told the broadcaster the challenges Swedish authorities face with the ever-decreasing number of officers, saying, quote, "We have a major crisis. Many colleagues have chosen to leave. We will not be able to investigate crimes. We have no time to travel to call-outs we are set to do. A worsened working environment means that many colleagues are now looking around for something else," unquote. Larsson singles out violence against emergency service employees, saying, quote, "The violence against us in the police and the paramedics and firefighters has become much worse. We're talking about stone throwing, violence, fires. It's been much worse in recent years," unquote. probably has nothing to do with the migrant crisis. So, folks, these migrants are all just people who are looking to get away from the pain and sorrow that they had to face. They're good people, though. Good folks. Tina Svensson, a resident of one of the outer suburbs of Gothenburg, says the crime has reached a fever pitch and police rarely ever arrive. Miss Svensson describes a particular incident of violence to the Norwegian broadcaster as an example of her experiences, saying, quote, "There were two guys who were shot with some kind of automatic weapons, 2 magazines perhaps. It may not be what you would expect when you're walking the dog," unquote. Miss Svensson said that many people would not travel to her suburb because of the violence and admitted most were scared to live there. Much of the crime in Sweden is linked to specific suburbs in large cities like Stockholm and Gothenburg that generally also have high population of migrants. Suburbs like Rickenby in Stockholm have become particularly famous for residents attacking journalists on more than one occasion. Swedish police have accounted for a total of 14 no-go areas in which they rarely venture outside their heavily fortified police stations for fear of being attacked by locals. Folks, that's what places in Chicago are right now, no-go areas. I mean, is that what you want in this country? The Swedish government has claimed that using the word, quote, crisis is a step too far and have promised more funding to recruit more officers. It doesn't matter how much money you offer to people, they're not going to want these jobs. Sergeant Larson isn't convinced the government, who have dubious history of trying to cover up migrant crime, is really trying to tackle the root of the problem. Warning, quote, "If they choose not to make a real commitment now, it's going to end in disaster," unquote. Folks, we're under siege. We're under siege. We're under siege by a bunch of people. Now, God damn it, I'm just going to say it. A bunch of brown people who have questionable ethics and have no respect for law and have absolutely no regard for what we call Western civilization. Now, I don't believe that to be the case here in the United States of America. I believe most of the even die-hard Black Lives Matter folk would slowly go away if they had to actually give up their, Western civilization type things like their cell phone, the technology that they use every day. Just remember, all you migrants and all those who absolutely despise us white people, I tell you what, stop using every single thing that was created by a white person now. And then that, if you want to boycott Carolina, if you want to boycott Charleston, I tell you what, why don't you boycott every single thing ever created by a white person? See how far that'll get you. This is getting irritating. And I certainly don't think that this applies to everyone who's not white, but it does apply to even white people who are a part of this Black Lives Matter. Let me just get this straight with all y'all. Your lives don't matter, okay? My life doesn't matter. Nobody's lives matter. Nobody's life matters unless you make it matter. Go out there and make a difference in the world. Don't just live your life around, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and alcohol, and football. Make your life mean something, and then your life will matter. This is Shindo. Have a good day.